Who knew? Who knew that when it started raining that Thursday night, what was going to happen as a result? Who knew that when the water started rising in my community on Friday night, that Saturday morning when I had checked the little mark that I put out there that said the water is actually receding. So from 8 o'clock Saturday morning until noon Saturday morning, the water went down 5 inches. And I will never forget sitting in my easy chair saying, "Thank you, God, we just dodged a big one." And at 1:15, the water was in my house. And by 2 o'clock, there was a foot of water in my house. So, who knew? Now, what do we need to learn? What are our takeaways from this? I can tell you that my company does disaster preparedness for major companies. And I didn't have a clue as to what I was doing. Now, I can tell you the biggest lesson you need to learn. Almost everybody has one of these. Not all carriers are equal. And Ted says that I can't call names out, but I'm going to tell you when Terry and I, my wife and I, were evacuated with our 95-pound dog, I had the community phone because it was one of the only ones that worked, and I just prayed that I would get it back at the end. So pay attention. We've just started hurricane season. Give it some thought. Flood insurance. The quote I put is, "I didn't know that." How did I get flood insurance? My wife and I had dinner with somebody one night. Their wife bought flood insurance. The husband griped because he was not in the flood zone and his wife was wasting money on useless flood insurance. So the next day, my wife bought flood insurance. Thank goodness, because it greatly enhanced our ability to come back. From the commercial aspect, insure buildings, don't insure suites. Check your flood insurance policies. If you've got different addresses and different policies, don't think they're going to group it as one. Because where my office is, I've also got some rental space. I have 4 flood insurance policies, which is good, but I got 4 deductibles, which ain't so good. So know what's in there. What's not covered? Generators aren't covered. Our building, our office, we are first responders of type for our clients. Without the generator, we can't function. But the insurance company doesn't deem that important. So therefore, they wave a wand and it's not covered. If you have flood insurance, check your policy. You will be amazed at what is not covered in your policy. One of the things that they tell you can't do is you can't be your own general contractor. I am educated to be a general contractor. I am licensed to be a general contractor. I practice it every day and have for the past 30-some-odd years. But the insurance company says, you can't be your general contractor, and if you are, we're not going to pay you any overhead and profit to cover what you do. After a lot of long negotiations, they have acquiesced. But I know multiple parties that they just took what the insurance company said on the first blush and moved along. And the other thing that I'll tell you that has been immeasurable help to me is we use an insurance agent. We don't go online and buy our insurance. We didn't go to somebody that says, I can help you, and they take your money and they take their piece out of it and they send it to the insurance company. We have a real-life agent, and that agent was responsible for us getting not only our money for our residents in record time, we had all of our flood insurance money in the bank within 30 days after the flood, due to my insurance agent. On my commercial end, I'm still in the fight, but I can tell you we're going to reap hundreds of thousands of dollars more because the agent has got my back. Pay attention to that. It's very important. Whether it's a home or a business, we don't need any outside consultants in helping us plan for disasters. Again, I told you that's what we do. We've got a major bank that as soon as there's a disaster, the first number they call is ours to help them. What did I do in my own house? We were going to evacuate our house using an oversized inflated turtle with a rug on top of it so the dog's claws wouldn't pop it, and tie ourselves on a rope and probably would have gotten killed. So how's that for disaster preparedness? It's really overused, but it's not unimportant. Plan, how are you going to get out? We have a second floor. We stayed up there. We had a generator. We were good. The generator went out. By Saturday night, all of the Cajun Navy had done most of their work. By Sunday morning, my wife was getting a little bit anxious. We did find the Cajun Navy one more time. They came. Thank God for the Cajun Navy, because they came on their own without compensation and couldn't do enough to help. And that is one of the most positive things about Louisiana that we can ever offer to anybody. All right, I have to tread lightly. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you. Not. The government works by process, not speed. The government works by process, not efficiently. It's the way they do it. You're not going to change it, so either accept it or walk away. The government, in all of its offerings, didn't provide a lot of help to us. There's a difference between what the government advertises and what the government does. And I'll be very specific on that. Sba loans. If you're an individual, we can give you a loan at 1.25%. That's a great interest rate. If you're a business, we can give you a loan at 4.25%. Again, really good interest rate. The only catch is, if you have credit, those rates don't apply to you. If you have credit and you're an individual, it's a 3.25% rate. And if you're a business and you have credit, it's a 6.25% rate. I can beat that every day of the week. So be careful. It does apply to some people. It didn't apply to us. And if you're going to count on that to help you out, you may be disappointed, and just listen to the newscast as to who is still disappointed as of today, 9 months after. A little bitty one, see if I can get through this one quickly. In order to get an SBA number for a file, you need to have a FEMA number. No problem. I went to FEMA and said, okay, what do I need to do? Fill this out. There's this little line that says, give us your reported taxable income for 2015. I said, guys, my house went underwater. Don't have all that stuff. Well, get it from your CPA. CPA went underwater. All his servers went underwater. Doesn't have it. I said, I think I know what it is approximately. Let me give that to you. And they said, won't work. Because we're going to pull your tax returns, and if what you tell us doesn't match what we pull, then you're denied. And I said, wait, you're going to pull it so you know what I got? Yes, but until you tell us what it is, it doesn't apply. I don't have a FEMA number. I don't have an SBA number today. FEMA likes to call you a lot. They're very polite. And I'm sure they do help certain people. But if you're going to count on them, be careful. All right, this is one everybody's seeing. Looking at a general contractor to get my house done. He tells me every general contractor gets paid up front. Big, big, big problem. You all have seen the general contractors now that are in jail because they took money and they left. And they did it to the most vulnerable people out there. So that's not quite true. I can tell you going forward, if you do engage a general contractor, no money up front. You ask for his license, you ask for their insurance, you ask for their references, which you check out, and you ask for structured payments. And any good general contractor will take care of you under that scenario. If they don't, proceed with extreme caution. Okay, the new normal. We're in the new normal now. Who's coming back, who's not? There was a young lady that was leasing a space for me that the name of the business was Pinkaboo, which is a play on pink and blue, and she did ultrasounds. And she said that Denham Springs was the absolute best place for her to open her new business. And she had saved, and she was working another job, and she was working another job while she set that up. And 2 weeks before the flood, she came into her own business, and 2 weeks later, she lost everything she had worked for. She's not coming back. There's a lot of other people, there's neighborhoods, some will come back, some will not. You know, there's also businesses. Some will come back, some will not. Popeyes is gone. But you know, maybe there's another bigger, stronger, better business that's going to come back and replace Popeyes. We don't know yet. And we're not going to know for years what the ramifications of businesses coming and going on. We can only pray that what we lost, we replace with something better. And we know that can happen. Employee shortages are part of what we deal with now. In my Denham office, we have about 26 people that come to the office. 13 of them lost their homes. I can tell you, it was a very, very tough situation trying to keep a business going, because while I got great clients, they really want you to take care of their stuff before you take care of your stuff. So we did. And we had to take care of our employees so they could come back, and we had to work hard to make that go, and it's people helping each other. And then new practices that didn't occur before the flood that manifested itself during the flood that I think will become part of the new normal. And a specific example is a pre-hung door. If you ever bought a pre-hung door, it comes with the door, the frame, and the trim attached to one side. And you put it in the door opening, and you nail it up, and then you put the trim on the other side. Well, because of the hundreds of thousands of doors that were lost and needed to be replaced, in order to expedite that, the doors now come without trim on either side. So, number one, you hope the trim is delivered. Number two, you hope the trim is the right trim. And number three is, you got to put the trim on yourself or pay your carpenter to do it. I might be wrong, but I am of the opinion that that's part of the new normal. We will never see trim attached to doors again long after the floods are gone. So, you know, as we go forward, you got to be responsible for yourself. Understand what you have working for you and what you don't. Please try and figure out where you're going before it happens, because the plastic turtle was not going to get me where I needed to go. The people in front of me have talked about our opportunities and our strengths, and it's a great community. I love it here. I want to be part of the rebuilding process. Take care of yourself. Look to your neighbors. Help your neighbors. They're going to help you. So thank you for your time.